Good evening and welcome to Look North. Our top story tonight. The children living with pain, waiting to get their teeth removed. We hear of one father's anguish.
It makes me feel like I've made the worst decision for my family in coming here. That's what it feels like nobody actually cares.
Yorkshire has the highest rate in the country for decay-related tooth extractions. We find out why. Also tonight, with just over 12 hours to go till the polls open for the Selby and Ainsley by-election, we hear from voters.
And on the eve of the Women's World Cup starting in Australia and New Zealand, I'm in Harrogate talking to some young footballers hoping to emulate the success of local hero and lioness Rachel Daly.
And meet Zebby, the award-winning cat who helps his deaf owner Genevieve to hear sounds around the house.
And it's been another day of sunshine and scattered showers, but what's the next few days looking like? Join me for the detailed forecast.
Good evening, thanks for your company. Thousands of children in our region are living with painful teeth, and getting them removed is getting increasingly tough. That's according to data obtained by the Liberal Democrats and shared with the BBC. For families here, it's a particularly big problem. In Yorkshire and the Humber, more under-19s had decay-related extractions than anywhere else in the country last year. This was 5 times higher than in the East Midlands, which had the lowest rate. And if these young people in Yorkshire needed their teeth removed under general anaesthetic, they could be waiting up to 80 weeks. Well, Sabir Pervez has our top story this evening.
Where did we take out the teeth? These two, hey?
As Paolo De Cavallo counts his daughter's teeth, he's scanning for signs of decay. Ariella's 7 years old, but has already had 2 teeth taken out.
She had cracked 2 of her molars, somehow, the 2 identical molars on either side on the top. Don't know from what, but eventually they started just collapsing, falling out of her mouth. So we needed to do, the dentist recommended that we do extractions.
The process wasn't easy. Paolo tried to get his daughter registered with the NHS dentist. None were taking new patients.
We've had to go private all the way. We've just given up trying to register with the NHS.
Paolo and his family migrated to North Yorkshire from South Africa 4 years ago.
It makes me feel like I've made the worst decision for my family in coming here. That's what it feels like nobody actually cares.
Ariella isn't alone in her experience. Yorkshire and the Humber region has the highest rate of tooth extractions in the country for 0 to 19-year-olds with cavities. The average wait time for treatment under general anaesthetic for that age group is up to 80 weeks. But the wait time can vary depending on where you live.
Well, generally you would see an increase, higher rates of decay in those areas where the cost of living crisis is becoming much more of a reality to families. They're not able to afford toothbrushes, they're not able to afford toothpaste, they're buying maybe foods that are higher in sugar. And so as a result, then we're facing a tidal wave.
Good morning, everybody. So today it is our second session of the Raised in Yorkshire programme.
To try and improve dental health amongst young people, Leeds University has been training 6th formers at Ralph Thoresby School to deliver workshops to Year 7 pupils on how to practice better oral hygiene.
We know, especially in the Yorkshire and the Humber, that these children, at least half of them, will start secondary school and have at least 1 tooth which has got dental decay in them. So that's why we thought if we can target Year 7 students, we can try and get this education, this knowledge, that give them the power at a young age.
The project is already making a difference.
I've had a couple of issues in my teeth in the past. I've had to have a couple of treatments on them, and doing this workshop's helped me learn that I need to take care of my teeth a lot better than I did before.
In a statement, the government says they're working to improve access to NHS dental care, investing more than £3 billion a year into dentistry. And the number of children seen by NHS dentists rose by over 40% last year.
1, 2, 3.
But families like Paolo's still can't get access to an NHS dentist and worry about the future.
Or need something, or God forbid, she falls on the playground and really damages her teeth. I don't know how I'm going to afford to pay for that. That will kill me inside. It's terrifying.
Well, Mark Green is a dentist in Kirby Moorside and a member of the British Dental Association. He told me what he thought was behind the high rates.
It's been lack of investment and lack of doing anything about the contract for the last decade or more from previous governments, even though we've talked about it for many, many times.
What does that mean?
Well, they've just ignored the problem. They've been pushing dentists out of the NHS by making it almost unworkable, so they've left and gone to the private sector. I would say it's almost privatisation by the back door, but it's not, it's by the front door, because it's blatantly obvious what's been happening.
But the government do say that they have invested more than £3 billion a year into dentistry, and the number of children seen by NHS dentists rose by 43.6% last year. Are we at least heading in the right direction?
Well, the 40-odd% is because we had COVID the year probably they were measuring, which is obviously going to happen when there's more, the COVID restrictions are reduced. The investment of $3 billion is not quite strictly true, because nearly $1 billion of that comes from patient charges. So call it 2.1 billion, and of that 2.1, about $500 million is going to be reclaimed back from work that hasn't been done due to the lack of dentists working in the NHS. If you made the contract appealing and fix the leaky bucket from stopping the dentist leaving the service, it might be beneficial. But we are down on numbers as well. We need to train more and not rely on, like we have done in the past, on EU graduates filling the vacancies. Obviously, that channel has been cut off since 2016, so we've had 600 fewer already since 2016.
We heard in Sabir's piece there that some children don't even have access to toothbrushes and toothpaste. That's dreadful to hear, isn't it?
Toothbrushing is essential. It's a preventable disease, and with correct toothbrushing and toothpaste, then you can remove the plaque that causes the acid, that causes the holes in the teeth. Because of COVID, kids were at school, weren't at school and they were at home, and that grazing as well is a factor in increasing the acid in the mouth. And those times that the acid is there causes the holes to occur. So you need to brush away. So with toothbrushes and toothpaste, you can prevent a lot of dental disease.
Good advice. Thank you very much, Mark. Next tonight, in just over 12 hours, voters in the constituency of Selby and Ainsley go to the polls following the resignation of the Conservative MP Nigel Adams. He had a majority of 20,000 votes at the general election in 2019. Well, our political editor James Vincent has spent the last day of campaigning in Sherburn and Elmet speaking to voters. James, is there a sense of excitement there today?
Yeah, excitement, concern, tired maybe. It depends on how many people have knocked on your door, how many doors you've knocked on. This could be the biggest story in the country on Friday morning, but Could is doing a lot of heavy lifting in that sentence. What we don't know, and nobody wants to, is predict who will win. Well, what people do want to do is tell us exactly what they want their MP to do when they are elected. Summer in Sherburn, and down at the Garden Centre we caught up with Craig, whose community group is watching this election closely.
We've had a village that was 1,900 people. It's going to be 10,000 people, residents, in the next year. And whoever comes in, whichever party comes in, needs to engage with that local community.
By Friday, we'll have a new MP. What's the first thing you're going to be banging on their door to ask about?
We want some facilities here. Transport links have been going down and down and down. And we have businesses on the local estate here actually buying buses in themselves to bring staff in. And they're bussing them in from Doncaster, they're bussing them in from Leeds. We need the infrastructure to be better for transportation. That's a really big one.
With loads of new houses built nearby, the village wants services to catch up with its population.
Within Sherburn and Elmet, definitely it's going to be working back on the infrastructure of the place. What they've allowed is a lot of housing to develop and go quickly, but then they always do the schools, the doctors, the facilities, the sports centres after.
Half a mile down the road at the pub, Maggie's been looking at her energy bills. They've more than doubled.
My first bill was $4,800 for gas and electric.
What did you think when you opened that bill? Can you say it?
I don't think I'd be able to say it, really, but you can imagine.
Normally you might get something to eat with your pint, but not anymore. Food is off the menu.
So, for example, I do a dinner, a lamb dinner, and I charge $13.95 for that lamb dinner, and I opened my meat bill one day, and the lamb rump was £18.95 before I cook it, before I put staff on.
So the centre of the village, the pub, I bet you have better debates here than you do in the House of Commons. What are they saying? What are the punters saying?
All I hear is, well, they're all the same. But there's got to be somebody. And I do genuinely believe that the candidates are there because they believe they can make a difference, or they wouldn't do it.
So we'll know who the MP is by Friday. Friday night you can invite them in for a pint and then you can say, right, this is what I want. What are you going to ask them for?
Where do I start? Where do I start? Big long list. From living in the village alone, without having a pub, it would be the infrastructure and what are we doing. And as a business owner, what can you give us? What can you do? What can you rally, government about for us? Because you're seeing so many empty shops, so many empty buildings, and it's sad, but it's a sign of what's happening with the cost of living.
Yeah, the cost of living, that's been the really big issue of this campaign. And what I've picked up on the doorstep when we've been speaking to people, it's not just voters wanting the parties to say, yeah, we'll sort the cost of living out, but they want real practical advice and help. They want to know exactly, whoever wins this election, what they're going to do to help them. We don't know who's going to win tomorrow. The only thing we know is on Friday morning, Selby and Ainsty will have a new MP.
Thank you very much, James. And there's a full list of candidates standing in the by-election on our website. Search for bbc.co.uk/North Yorkshire. Patients are being urged to use NHS services wisely as consultants stage a 48-hour strike over pay from tomorrow morning. The industrial action by members of the British Medical Association comes just days after junior doctors finished their 5-day walkout. Trusts will be offering a Christmas Day level of service. Our health correspondent Jamie Coulson has been speaking to the Chief Medical Officer at Leeds Teaching Hospitals and began by asking how worried they were.
So very concerned. The problem will be that we'll have delays for our patients. This is on the back of delays that we've had from the pandemic, delays that we've had from the junior doctor strikes, and now further delays from the consultant strikes.
You mentioned there the junior doctor strike. They've just finished 5 days of strike action. Now we have consultants going out for 2 days. How much disruption does this add to everything?
Virtually all of our pre-planned surgical work won't occur. And understanding that we have 70 theatres in Leeds Teaching Hospital Trust, it's an enormous organisation that provides a huge amount of work. And for the period of these 2 days, we'll lose the vast majority of that.
It's widely being described as a Christmas Day level of cover that you're going to be offering. In practice, what does that mean for patients?
Well, so the first thing to say is that we'll be running a safe service. We won't be running anything where we think patients would be at risk, so we'll be running a safe service. The Christmas Day service means that we'll be running mainly our acute and emergency service only. Very little of the pre-planned elective procedures and outpatient clinics and surgeries that we would have otherwise been able to run.
If someone does feel unwell over the coming days, what is your advice to them about what they should do?
Well, of course, if they feel acutely unwell and think there may be an emergency, then they have to come to the emergency department. It's likely, though, that the emergency department is going to be very busy, very congested, and so if they don't have a serious or a life-threatening illness, then there will be significant delays and they will end up waiting. For less serious problems, then there is the option of contacting NHS 111, and many pharmacists will also offer advice for minor illnesses.
This is a dispute between the government and doctors, but there is no end in sight. How concerned are you about things carrying on?
I think all of us in medicine, including those doctors who are striking, because that's been a really difficult decision for them to make often, to go out on strike. And the reason why it's so difficult is because they know that this is going to have an impact on patients, and the longer these strikes go on, the more of that impact is going to be seen.
Police are looking into how dozens of cars, vans and motorbikes were destroyed in a suspected arson attack in Sheffield. Firefighters were called to a vehicle recovery site on Parkway Drive last night. At its height, 10 fire engines were used to tackle the blaze, with more than 50 vehicles on fire. South Yorkshire Police say no one was injured in the fire and arson investigations are now underway. Next tonight, the Women's World Cup kicks off tomorrow and England's Lionesses will be one of the favourites after their win in the Euros last year. Now, there are 5 players from our region in the 23-woman squad. Let's meet them. Rachel Daly from Harrogate played as a defender in the Euros but has been named as a forward in this World Cup. Captain Millie Bright from Kilmarsh has 66 England caps already and is likely to be in the starting lineup. Bethany England from Barnsley is a forward who has scored 11 England goals. Esme Morgan is 22 and from Sheffield. She plays for Manchester City and is in the squad as a defender. And don't forget, of course, Ellie Roebuck, England's backup goalkeeper. Ellie is 23 and was in the squad which won the Euros last year. Well, we can join Olivia Richwald now at a girls' football training session in Harrogate.
Well, Keely, Wimbledon's over, the Ashes have just restarted, and tomorrow the Women's World Cup gets underway. What a summer of sport, and everyone here at the Under-14s Panel Ash training tonight is very excited about the World Cup, and they're all supporting Rachel Daly, who is the local hero and one of the Lionesses. And if we go over here, we can meet Grace, and Grace has actually met Rachel Daly in person. Why is she such a special player, Grace?
I think she's such a special player because of the skills that she's developed over the years and how she's overcome everything and managed to get to England and Lionesses.
Are you excited? Can England win?
I think they can win, yeah. I don't think I know. They will.
Brilliant, thank you. Let's go over here and speak to Dassel. Now, Dassel was actually there when England won the Euros last year. What was that like?
Oh, it was a really fun atmosphere. Like, everyone was like supporting each other. Like, England and Germany fans were both really, even after the end score of the game, they were still like supporting each other afterwards.
Brilliant, and I think we can see some pictures now of the celebrations in Trafalgar Square after they won that Euro competition. And let's go over here and speak to Chris, who's the head coach here. Now, what has that victory last year done for women's and girls football?
It's completely revolutionised it, if I'm quite honest. Yeah, participation, especially at our club, we're up to over 105 girls now across the whole of North Yorkshire. There's just not enough capacity, so it's been absolutely fantastic. So the girls have absolutely loved it.
Now, you actually put out an appeal for some female coaches. How has that gone?
Quite difficult. 18 months of real hard slog, using every social media platform we could think of, using England players and footage from them. And we've managed to get a call from two aspiring young coaches. One of them is actually on her way out to Australia as we speak, but as you can probably see, Chantel answered that plea and she's come along to coaches now, which the girls have actually asked for. So yeah, all really, really good, really good.
Brilliant. Yes, Chantel is here, just over here. I don't know if you can see it over my shoulder in black. Chantel, give us a wave. She's the new coach who's just joined this team, and the girls are really pleased to have a woman supporting them here as well. Now, Rachel Daly, when she was a youngster, had to play in a boys' team because girls' football just wasn't that popular. Isn't it fantastic to see the difference now? And with this World Cup likely to be the most high-profile women's tournament ever in history, this profile is only going to grow and grow. So if you want to watch the matches, it starts tomorrow. New Zealand play Norway and England are on Saturday.
Thank you, Olivia. Meanwhile, Sheffield United's pre-season training camp in Portugal continues, and tonight attention turns to a friendly game against Estoril. Sally Hurst is in Portugal and joins us now from the stadium. Sally.
Hi Keely, yes, welcome to the home stadium of GD Estoril. Players just warming up behind us. There's a capacity of 8,000 here, and you know what? The game itself doesn't really matter tonight, whatever the result. It's just a good marker. It is a friendly of where the team is in terms of their teamwork and their match fitness. Those are going to be really important in the Premier League next season. Well, earlier today I spoke to their manager, Paul Heckingbottom, about where they are now, how they're preparing for the Premier League life, and asked him first of all how proud he is of his team.
Yeah, really proud of how we attacked it and how we've helped this football club get, like I say, get its feet back on the ground. But we don't want to stop there. We want to make sure that this season's just as exciting.
How do you prepare for life in the Premier League on a limited budget?
We try and identify players with standout qualities that can help us on the pitch, and then it's about us working with them. We like working with players. Myself, the rest of the coaching staff, we've done it with our academy players, we've done it with signings. Benny's someone, I think, lots of clubs have been looking at him. It's important for us to make sure that the players want to come and play for Sheffield United. We've got the appeal of the Premier League, which is a good thing for us, but I think we're really clear on how we show the players how we want to work and the expectations, and yeah, Benny was jumping at the chance to come and join us.
The question that every fan is asking, will Iliman and Jai be in that team at the start of the season?
He's in the team tonight, so that's the main thing. Yeah, I quite like the fact that you lot just keep talking about it, so I'll let you just keep talking about it, and myself and Iliman will just keep preparing for football matches.
What are your emotions going into the new season?
Yeah, excitement. I'm ready for the games to start. It's the bit I enjoy personally. We know how tough it's going to be, and I think I have to be the one sort of leading that and attacking it, and yeah, hopefully we can get everyone to follow.
Well, the Sheffield United players have just come out to warm up as well, and there are some fans arriving in the stand over there. Sheffield, of course, does have a travelling army of fans who come with them to games like this abroad, and we've been speaking to them, some of them outside of the stadium. Fair to say, they're pretty excited about tonight's game.
We go to Albufeira quite a lot, and it was just lucky that we were in Albufeira that when United arranged the friendly here, so it was a no-brainer to come up and watch them.
Well, they've got to win. I'm a woman. I go for gold.
What are you hoping for tonight?
Just to have a good time with all his pals. And him to sign a new contract.
Well, kick-off is at 7:30, and then the players will fly home on Saturday, ready for their next friendly against Rotherham United on Tuesday. But for now, from Portugal, it's over and out.
Thank you very much, Sally. Now to the story of this magnificent moggy from Chesterfield, who's just won a National Cat Award. 2-year-old Zebby helps his deaf owner by alerting her to sounds around the house. He even brings her post and lets her know if someone's at the door. Nicola Rees has been to meet them.
Such a good boy. He means everything to me. Because of what he's done and because of what he does, I really couldn't survive without him. Where is it?
Genevieve's cat, Zebby, has never had any special training, but somehow he understands his owner is deaf.
If my phone rings in the middle of the night or during the morning and I'm asleep or my hearing aid's not in, Zebby will tap me on my hand or my cheek. If anyone's ringing the doorbell or knocks at the door, he'll jump into the window and try and have a look, and then he'll come and let me know. When the mail comes through the letterbox, he actually takes the letters out of the letterbox and drops them on the bedroom floor.
He sounds absolutely amazing. He must be your best friend.
He's everything. He's the night watchman, security, guardian angel.
And as of this week, he's also the National Cat of the Year. Zebby was selected from thousands of pets across the country for the help he gives to Genevieve.
Look at all these trophies here, look. I'm over the moon to have won, and it means so, so much. Without him, I'd just be lost, totally lost, and I'd be in a silent world, you know, because he's there for me to talk to. This needs to be here, Zebby, so everyone can see it. What do you think of that, Zebby?
When did you first realise that he knew you were deaf?
Within just a few weeks of having him, he saw the hearing aid and he realised that without it, I couldn't hear anything if someone knocked at the door and I didn't move. He just picked it up from there.
Genevieve already knew her cat was special, and now we do too. Well done, Zebby.
What would I do without you, eh?
Nicola Rees, BBC Look North, Chesterfield.
What a gorgeous boy. Now, a year ago today was the first time UK temperatures exceeded 40 degrees Celsius. A contrast from today, of course. Paul joins me now. Just talk us through how extraordinary it was.
Well, it stunned climate scientists. I mean, I spoke to Jim McQuaid at Leeds University on this day last year, and they couldn't quite believe the data that was coming in. Bearing in mind Bramham, the previous record was around about 34.8. So Bramham actually set two records, the highest temperature ever recorded in West Yorkshire, but also the margin of the record being beaten was a record in itself. So, I mean, you just look at those temperatures and it was so widespread, the heat, but it was by how much we beat the records that was the real eye-opener.
So what caused it?
Well, it's all down to the jet stream, and what you've got to remember is the jet stream is the contrast between the cold weather across the Arctic, the northern climes, and the warmth in the subtropics. But the Arctic is the fastest warming place on Earth. It's warming 3 times faster than anywhere else. So that is sort of diluting the strength of the jet stream. And what we found was that the jet stream, just like this summer, is becoming weaker and it's meandering and it just gets stuck in the same place. And that's what we had last summer. And that's what Southern Europe's got this summer, as well as America and China. And don't forget, on top of that, global temperatures are at record levels, not just across the land, but global sea temperatures are at record levels as well.
It's alarming, isn't it?
It is really, and we're stuck on the wrong side of the jet stream at the moment, as you well know. I'll get onto the forecast in a minute. Just let me show you a couple of pictures that you've sent in. That's a lovely one on the canal there in South Yorkshire, Sprotborough, and the second picture that's been sent in. You might have to look fairly carefully, but Richard thinks there's a face in there, a face of a cat. Now, I don't know whether I don't know whether he's been on the sherry early, but I can just about pick out. But anyway, I thought that was interesting. Send the pictures coming in, Twitter, Instagram, and on the Weather Watcher website. So as I've just said, we're stuck on the wrong side of the jet stream at the moment, and that means one thing at any time of the year: showers or longer outbreaks of rain. Tomorrow, I mean, it's not looking too bad. We're looking at a mixture of sunny spells and scattered showers, just like today. One or two could be on the heavy side, but I think quite a few places tomorrow will in fact stay dry. Now, if you've got any plans this weekend, you better look away now, because the next feature that's going to come in from the Atlantic, I mean, just look at this for Saturday into Sunday. It's a washout, you know, the cricket at Old Trafford, the golf in Liverpool, and if you've got any events on Saturday, you're going to struggle. Now, depending on where this ends up, Sunday is also looking unsettled. Could be brighter, but there'll be showers and local thunderstorms, and we keep low pressure in charge through much of next week as well. Now, the clouds suggest where the showers have been falling. There's been some heavy ones, but actually there's quite a bit of sunshine around this evening, so that's where we pick up the forecast in the next few hours. If you've got a shower, it could be heavy, but gradually they fizzle, they sort of push away to the southeast, and it ends up dry with clear spells, and we'll see temperatures coming in at around 8 or 9 degrees. So tomorrow's high water times, not too bad a day along the coast. Filey 6:40, Bridlington at 6:49. So we're off to a lovely start in the morning. There might be a bit of mistiness first thing, otherwise it's dry and bright with some sunshine. But you can see the showers do get going, but not quite as widespread as they've been today. If you catch one, it'll be heavy with the risk of thunder, but I suspect quite a few areas tomorrow will in fact stay dry, and there will be some sunshine around. We're looking at top temperatures just slightly below average for the time of the year, 19 or 20 degrees, 20 in Doncaster, and Sprotborough is 68 degrees Fahrenheit. OK, looking further ahead. Friday again, not too bad, variable cloud, some sunny intervals, the risk of a few showers, especially through the afternoon, but then that low pressure system moves in. It looks like it's going to be wet and windy and cool. Look at that on Saturday, with further shower outbreaks of rain possible on Sunday. That's the forecast.
Thank you very much, and that's it from the Tea Time team for now. Paul and myself will be back at 10:30. Enjoy your evening. Bye-bye.